Hey everybody, CJ Bachman again, here for another episode of the One SEO podcast. Today we are tackling Mountain and OTT. Not sure what OTT is? Well, stay tuned. We're about to dive right in. Today I am joined by Nick and Jill. Hey guys.
Hey.
It's our second podcast together recently.
Happy to be here.
All right. So our last podcast, we actually were talking about revenue engines, right? Growth engines per se.
Yeah.
One of those growth engines that people could utilize is OTT.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. What is OTT and how do those ads work?
Yeah, we get that question a lot, actually. You get it a lot too,
Yeah.
right? Like, literally everyone's always like, what is OTT? What does it mean? I'm not sure why they named it over-the-top advertising other than it's over-the-top on traditional.
Over the top.
Yeah.
You can get in front of anybody. It's like, instead of spending a lot of money for cable to just mass blast something, you can really target, like you can retarget people that are on your site. You can target IPs.
Yeah.
So you can get way more specific with the commercials and just videos you're sending.
So let's talk a little bit about how those ads work.
Yeah. So when it comes to OTT, think of Hulu, think of Fire Stick if people even use those anymore. Think of Sling, Roku, all of those channels that cord cutters are watching all day, every day. There's ads streaming on those channels all day, every day. And what's great about them is if somebody sees that ad and then they come to a website, it's being tracked, which is super exciting, which is better than cable. So if you're not doing OTT and you're trying to advertise on cable, you should probably rethink that.
So what we're talking about is connected TV, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Mountain is a product that we use here at One SEO. It's a great product and super proud to be partners with them. And it focuses on connected TV. So explain to the audience a little bit about the relationship between CTV and OTT, and why is CTV a valuable channel for brands looking to expand their reach? I mean, we just spoke last week on, making sure that you had four growth channels. Why should Mountain or OTT be one of them?
Yeah. So, well, to answer your first question, CTV is basically a part of OTT, but it's connected to the internet directly, which allows all of that continuous tracking to happen. And it allows us to track and remarket and re-engage with people on every other channel across the board. So that's a huge, huge benefit. Obviously, it coincides with your digital marketing. We're just hitting people as they go on that typical 8 touch point journey. So that's huge from a CTV standpoint.
Well, hold up right there, because what's really interesting about what you just said, and I don't think a lot of people realize it, but with products like Mountain and OTT, the same way that if someone visits your website, you can now remarket it, that data is being collected through Mountain, and you're able to remarket them on some of the other channels. So that means I can follow somebody who is watching Hulu and then goes to their computer and logs on to Facebook and then goes to ESPN and is looking for stats for the game from the other night, right? I can target them all along that way. It's all connected.
Yes, it's literally another layer to your marketing. It's a no-brainer.
And that goes to what we were like on past episodes, we've talked about the branding. So like wherever someone is in a decision-making process, just get your brand in front of them. So what you're doing, you're just another touch point along the way. And when they are ready to make that decision, subconsciously, they've seen you so much, they see you as the expert. So they're going to use you guys because they trust you.
So my next question was specifically around building brand awareness and long-term customer relationships. So you're saying because you're able to showcase yourself not only on the internet when they're there, but on the TV when they're streaming, whatever they may be streaming, that helps to build brand awareness?
Yeah. If you're a roofer and someone needs a $20,000, $30,000 roof, that's not like an impulse decision. They're not just going to quickly buy it. So what you do is you follow up with them while they're price checking, while they're reading reviews. You just get your brand in front of them, and then when they are ready to make that decision, they've seen you guys so many times. So it really is just a numbers game of how often can we get in front of them. And then obviously you got to have a good business.
It's all frequency control too, right? Like the same way, like if you ripped someone's roof off and you put a sign in the yard, like that's like, and we see it throughout the neighborhood multiple times, that's frequency, and you're doing the same thing online.
Right. Now, one question that we get a lot when people are asking about OTT is how do you get that strategy to align with their specific marketing goals and their budget?
Yeah, I would recommend what we need to track truly is behavior, the demographics that we're going at after, what has been their history online as well. What we need to track going forward is conversions, how much traffic is being driven from the ads as well, and ultimately down to conversions. Those are all things that we need to look at from a granular standpoint to ensure that everything is working according to how it needs to be worked.
Yeah.
So with OTT, you have the ability to build out your potential audience, right? The same way that you do on a lot of the other platforms. And a lot of people don't realize that because they think about TV and they mean, okay, that means everybody has to see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the beauty of connected TV is that everybody's experience can be different, right?
Yeah.
You're watching a TV show, I'm maybe watching it at 8 p.m. at night. You might not watch it till 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
So the experience is drastically different. So I think that the fact that you can actually pinpoint your audience, really drill down on those demographics, allows for that to be a much more strategic strategy that you can put into place. All right, so for our final question for the day, let's give some information and some advice to people who just want to get started. Where should they get started? What should they do today?
Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely recommend Mountain, but what I love about OTT is that it's starting to look like digital marketing every single day. It's getting smarter. Like you said with radio and TV, it's just like everybody sees it, everybody hears it, and you're hoping it sticks or it lands with someone. With OTT, it's the opposite. We do have those analytics. We do have that behavioral tracking. We do have everything down that we can see from a granular standpoint of who watched it, who came to the website, and who converted. So make sure that if you decide to commit to OTT, you have those numbers in front of you and you're tracking them and you understand how well it's working for you.
Yeah. Also, creative is going to be huge. So you want to make sure you invest into the creative side so your brand looks good. So we talk about pretty much getting back in front of them, showcasing your brand. Well, showcase your brand in the first 5 seconds. Make sure it's there so people see that right away in case they do lose attention in the first 3 seconds of an ad. Because some people go up and they'll go make a snack. They'll do push-ups, whatever people are doing in between commercials. Make sure it stands out, invest into the creative, and make sure you're showcasing a good product because that's what's going to pretty much stick in people's heads.
Yeah, and I think a tip from my side is that OTT used to be extremely expensive to get involved in, and you basically had to do it a channel at a time, right?
Yeah,
so you can think about having to have a $30,000 investment just to get started.
Yeah.
With products like Mountain, you can really test it at a much lower rate. Your budget doesn't have to be that large. You're putting it across many different channels, and then you have the ability to see, okay, maybe my audience is better on these particular areas. And I know in the back end when you're really setting it up, you can say, hey, I want to be on Hulu, but I don't want to be on Netflix, or I only want to be on Amazon Prime, and I don't want to be anywhere else. You have the ability to do that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I think it's a great channel, and this is a great episode that follows along the coattails of our episode that we did last week. So just remember, you want to try, you want to diversify, you want to be where your audience is, and you also want to know what your competitors are doing so that you can be there too. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the One SEO podcast, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.